Hershey CEO Michele Buck, welcome back. Michele, first on the growth, that top line growth that you put out, which was a surprise for Wall Street. Where is that coming from?
You know, I'm so proud of our employees for how they've united together and operated with agility to capture this opportunity for double-digit sales and earnings. You know, the growth has really come from the at-home consumption from consumers, primarily eating more, watching movies, entertaining at home, connecting with families over seasons.
What about margins, Michele? Because they were better than expected, which is not something we've seen in the food company space this season. But you're still seeing that compression and dealing with all sorts of inflation and input and freight. So tell us a little bit about what you're seeing and how long you expect it to last.
Yeah, so certainly we are getting hit with inflation as everybody else in the industry is. If we look at our commodity bucket, we saw inflation in sugar, dairy, nuts, logistics, packaging areas. So we're dealing with those same issues, and we see those persisting into 2022. Obviously, we're trying to take action as much as possible and pricing to cover as much of the commodity increases as we can.
Michele, I had a different question altogether, which was, I know you had a vaccine mandate. Just wanted to have an update on whether that did ultimately lead to anybody having to leave the company. And if 6 months from now, 12 months from now, if the virus really disappears, whether you'd consider rehiring any of those people.
So we certainly always look first and foremost for how we protect the safety and well-being of our employees. And we believe we have a responsibility as well to our communities to make sure we have a safe environment. So we did put in place a vaccine mandate in August that took effect in October. And we are continuing to operate the business very effectively under those conditions. We think that this is the best way to keep our employees safe.
Thinking about vaccines and just the labor shortage, Michele, is that issue getting better? Are you having trouble staffing the front lines and the factories?
There's certainly shortages in labor. We've been very fortunate, had very diligent efforts and improved our hiring practices. And we have been hiring pretty significantly for our manufacturing facilities so that we can operate more production, but also so that we can take some of the pressure off many of our employees who have been working overtime to really support the high demand that we've seen from consumers.
You mentioned the price increases that help offset some of the inflation costs that you're dealing with. How much longer do you think consumers can put up and pay up for that? And do you think that there's a point at which they push back?
You know, it's certainly something that we keep our eye on. We know that inflation has really been out there across the board. We also know that there's some pressure on consumers, for some consumers, with the pullback of government stimulus and also reductions in SNAP. So it's something that we watch very carefully. And we make sure that we have affordable options for consumers at many different price points so that everyone can participate in our great products.
And finally, I know everyone thinks of the sweets, Michele, but just very quickly, salty snacks, Skinny Pop rising 25%, Pirates Booty up 63%. Why are these numbers happening for salty snacks?
Hey, with consumers at home more, they are snacking more. These are great brands that consumers love, really high repeat. For Pirates Booty in particular, we did see an increase as many students returned to school after having been homeschooled during the first year of the pandemic. So that drove some of the Pirates increase. But it's really the quality of the products, the love consumers have for the Skinny Pop brand as well.